I am Joachim Samuelsson. I am the CEO of a deep fintech company in Sweden called Crunchfish. We're coming with the concept of rethinking payments. We believe that payments needs to become more resilient. Payments today is a happy flow. It works when everything works, but sometimes it doesn't work. And we need, as payment is a public good, cater for that it needs to work in a much more stable way, in a much more robust way. And we bring technology for that. We position ourselves as a deep fintech company because we're not something for the end user. We actually bring technology to the payment networks themselves. We bring secure wallets to the payment service providers. We bring technology that they use in order to become more resilient, essentially. That's what we do with what we call our layer 2 solution. We have layer 2 secure wallets and we have layer 2 terminals for the payment networks. And we're coming to market with an approach which is unique, that we enable the payment networks for free actually to become resilient. So we offer our technology there, source code and everything for the payment network, because if you're a payment network, it's very important that you have full control over what you deliver, because there are so many banks and payment applications that rely on you. So you must have full control, and we give them that on the receiving side. But then on the other hand, we look at the issuing side. This is where the banks come in, who serves end users, or payment services that serve end users. They need secure wallets in order to have the ability to do these secure payments or resilient payments that we offer. So we're coming here to tell the world basically that it's time to step up when it comes to payments. It can't just be a happy flow. It needs to be much more resilient than it has to be done in the past. That's our main message to the show. Essentially, resilience comes in many shapes and forms, but one important form is certainly for offline payments. It is to be able to transact between two people without any connectivity whatsoever, and we bring all the components necessary for that. The resiliency is also coming in for online payments, because you are typically today denied that if the system is not up, say your bank is not up or the switch is not up, then it will say you can't pay. We believe you should be able to, say, make a bill payment. You could make it and you send that payment to the backend, and it can sit there and wait until the systems are go. Then it can be processed. Very similar way how I can send it to you completely offline. It can sit with you until you get connectivity, and then it sort of settles. It would be if it's offline, it would be a reservation first, meaning that you put money aside that are reserved, so they are later there when you're going to do the transaction. This is what is called conditional payments or a smart contract. You have essentially reserved money for yourself, and then you transact. Means that you scan a QR code, you set up a connection between locally with that, say, merchant, and then out of your device, you can sign out from a secure wallet a transaction, which can be validated without any connectivity whatsoever by the merchant or a payee to trust it. That transaction is held by you, that you have just done, and that transaction is held by the recipient. And then when either of you gets connectivity, then that transaction is sent to the backend. It can be validated there again. It's the same transaction as the payee validated. And when it's validated there as well, then it can settle in a deferred way on the underlying payment networks. We're going off chain. You are on chain in a layer 1 system, but we go off chain, we transact, and then we go on chain again in order to do the settlement. That's how our system works. Well, we are currently involved with, if we start with the payment networks, because I think that's to get ourselves into the infrastructure of a payment network is key, because then you enable the entire ecosystem to be able to receive. Everybody can receive. You can pay online, you can receive offline. So we start there. So we get that in place, and this is where we offer it for free, source code and protocols and everything. When you have that in place, then you could start getting the issuing side in place. And then we're talking about payment service provider that needs secure wallets. So then you're starting to build a system that is P2P enabled, but also if this infrastructure that comes from the payment network, is part of what an app that the merchant is having. You can pay to merchants as well. But what you also could do incrementally is start to put this terminal component, the receiving component of our layer 2 system into car terminals, into any sort of POS system. And then you can pay to them as well, because they need to just be able to validate that they can trust this payment. And then later when they get connectivity, they can also then bank basically their transactions. So that's how our system will work. But we go for, I would say, currently the focus is to get the payment networks. And we are getting some huge national networks in the world that, especially in emerging markets, that is serving to hundreds of millions of people who needs resilient payment. When we get the network in place, then the next step is that for any payment service, any bank in that network is to sell to those as well. Another target we have, and we talk to some of them here at this event, is to talk to technology providers. Because the technology providers, they help the payment networks in order to get their networks in place. So we integrate it with them, and then they become our legs and talking to payment networks and payment service providers. So at this show, I think our focus is to talk to payment networks and to technology providers that is serving payment networks. That's what we need to get in place, and that's why we're here at Sibos this year.
Payment systems today are designed for the happy flow. They only work when everything works. But the current infrastructure is insufficient for a critical public good like digital payments. In an increasingly uncertain world, resilience becomes a necessity rather than a nice-to-have feature in payment ecosystems. Crunchfish is rethinking payments, online, offline, and with cash, so that payments work, even when the network doesn't. By adding a simple layer on top of existing payment rails, Crunchfish's Layer 2 solution enables payment networks to receive resilient payments, while payment services, on the other hand, equip users with secure wallets to make resilient payments. Through our patented Reserve Pay Settle approach, digital IOUs are cryptographically signed from secure wallets with isolated runtime environments.
These Layer 2 payments can be validated instantly by payees or at any other back-end node,
and settled in the underlying payment network once connectivity and system availability are restored. The result is a payment network that works despite congestion, outages, or connectivity failures. Crunchfish delivers resilience, interoperability, and privacy. Any payment ecosystem. It is secure, scalable, and surprisingly cost-effective,
as it is offered free of charge to the payment network provider.
Build payments that work, even when the network doesn't. Please visit crunchfish.com for more information.